I thought it was like, you know how people have a national name, and then they go to a different country, and to keep it easy,
they change it.
They change it. Yeah.
John.
Yeah, that's my name.
you
It's like RODA, so simple.
Yeah, okay. I don't think the English, I was looking up the meanings and
No, there is.
Nah,
yeah,
it's
but
not.
they said it means rose from other Portuguese country. Yeah, that speaks
Well,
Portuguese.
let's go with that.
Yeah.
I think you're a lovely rose.
beautiful.
Hey, how good. How good. And you're in Australia by yourself?
I came by myself
Wow.
back in 2004.
Wow.
And that was just 6 months after I had been separated with my ex.
Wow.
And I think after a year and a half or so, my sister came to follow me here, but as an international student as well.
So
at that time.
So cool.
So you've been here since 2004.
Yeah. I was in Sydney. That was where I first lived for about 11 years or so, and then I came to the Gold Coast in, I think it was 2015, end of 2015.
Massive pace change from Sydney to here. Hey,
Yeah.
huge difference.
I thought I was in a greener pasture in Sydney.
Really?
Yeah, and then when I moved here, I was like, gee, I should have moved here like
11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago.
Wow.
Definitely better in the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And
Fabulous.
You're in Manila?
That's where I did my uni.
That's right.
And then my parents is actually living probably 3 hours drive from Manila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many people live in Manila?
Oh, there's
Huge
a lot.
capital of Philippines.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there like 10 million or something like that?
It's probably more than what we have in
15 million?
Australia.
Oh, 20 million.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a lot of people there.
In the Philippines.
Yeah.
I've been to Manila,
Oh, okay.
been to Cebu,
Absolutely.
the Philippines. Manila was cool. It's a little bit dangerous there, hey?
In Manila.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I guess if you really are going to Philippines and you're into adventure, go to the islands.
Yeah, that's where
you
we
love
went.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. We have the most beautiful islands there.
So beautiful.
We have 7,100 islands, and it depends on if it's a low tide or high tide.
High tide, there's 3,500. Wow.
There's like little islands everywhere.
No, it's true. I've been to a few islands, and when the tide is in and out is a massive difference in the layout or whatever you'd say.
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious. I haven't heard someone say that.
Yeah, so some islands are totally habitable, and then some are not, because obviously they get be under the water when it's high tide. Yeah.
So you've been in Australia for 18 years.
Yeah.
How many times have you been back visiting?
Well, the very first time I came in 2004, the first time I came back after that was after 2 years, and then it took like years after that, because when my son came, I had to focus more on looking after him and working and like juggling everything. But by the time probably I came to the Gold Coast, I've been coming almost every year.
Okay.
Yeah, but during the time I was in Sydney, it's a very different life for me. Yeah, because my son is growing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've been just focusing on him and working a lot.
So your son is how old now?
20.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and he's moved out more than a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just by myself now. Yeah.
I didn't even think.
Well,
I thought you were only like early 20s yourself.
It's true though. You definitely.
You guys are so nice.
No, you definitely don't look like you have a 20-year-old son.
I am 47. I had him when I was 27, and now I'm 47 because he's 20.
You're the same age as me. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm still 20 too. So
He's lying.
I'm
Wow.
32.
You're
32.
a good liar.
That's a terrible thing.
I almost believe that.
So you came to Australia to run away from something?
I came here with the intention to change, my whole environment, and because I just got separated with my ex-husband. I don't know why I still say ex-husband when from my testimony that it was the marriage was null and void. So when I found that out, I just had that decision to actually stand up, for myself.
Come on.
Yeah, and my son. And I sort of just want to change, the whole environment with the intention of, bringing my son here at some stage. Yeah, because I just want to sort of, give him a better future. Yeah, which probably I couldn't if I'm in the Philippines.
Should we talk about that a little bit for people who may not have heard your testimony about the marriage?
Yeah,
is that
of
okay?
course. Yes.
Oh, cool. From the start.
Okay.
All right. We actually met in Manila when I was already working there. So that was after my uni already. I was 26, and then it was sort of like a whirlwind type of relationship. And then we decided to get married civilly. Under a civil registrar. At that time, I was, 26, end of my 26. And then we got married, and then we lived together. But because his parents actually is from a different island, so we're in Manila, which is one of the biggest islands, and he's from another island called Mindanao. That's another island from Cebu, which is in another island. So we flew there, and that's the first time I've met his parents. And then out of the conversation, I found that he was actually married 10 years ago or so, before we had our marriage contracted. And so that was a big shock for me. I was very confused, what to do. I knew it's not right, but I'm there, and I'm stuck, And at that time, I was already pregnant.
Wow.
And so in my heart, at that time, I was like, Rhoda, would you forgive him, or what are you gonna do? I'm totally just, stuck and
Sideswiped.
Yeah, and I made a decision just to forgive him, because I thought, okay, that was 10 years ago. They're not living together anymore. And they don't have any contacts anymore. So I've forgiven him, and then we just went through, just move forward, And then he went overseas for work. So he's sending me money and my son. So I got, obviously, I'm pregnant. And then when I gave birth, I think it was probably a month already after I gave birth when he came home. He wasn't there.
Wow.
And that's very common in Philippines. If the head of the family is actually overseas, they might miss the birth. Because they can't just go home,
Yeah.
And so that was like, that was normal. So he came maybe a month after I gave birth, and he stayed, with because I was living in my parents' place at that time, and then I think he got 1.5 months of sort of time off work, and then he said to me that he's going to fly to his parents' place and just visit them. Not that I know of that he actually contracted another marriage at that time. And I didn't know that until, I think my son was already 1.5 years, because at that time I was thinking to migrate to Canada. Right. And this is a family migration, so he's actually included in that application. And The thing is, they had this requirement for me to get the certificate of marriage and certificate of singleness, whatever. So I went to that place. I got the paper. And this is so funny. The lady who's on the window Well, before she actually gave me the paper, she bolted out in front of my face. She said, "Oh my God, he's got 3 marriages." And that sort of like shook my world because obviously I know the first and me being the second
You don't know
marriage.
the third.
There's a third one, which he did, when he came back in Philippines. Yeah.
So, but he had not divorced any of them.
There's no divorce in Philippines. That's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this lady was naughty. She wasn't supposed to say that. Hey, that's quite a little...
And who knows if she's actually, if she knows about it as well.
No, the lady of the glass, behind the glass.
Oh, yeah. She
wasn't
didn't
supposed to
like,
do that.
yeah. She just
How did
blurted out.
How did she see? But did she see paperwork that you couldn't see?
That lady on
Yeah,
The
behind the
glass.
glass. Did she have other paperwork?
So there is a organization in the Philippines where you can get, all those certificates.
Yes.
And so she's the one in the counter who's actually releasing that if we're wanting a copy.
Wow. Right.
And this is the thing, she didn't allow me to actually see it myself, and she just blurted out, like in front of me.
So what was your reaction to that?
I was totally. All I can remember was my brain just got numb and my whole body. I just couldn't
Believe it.
process a word in my head, and I can't even remember how I got out of that place, got onto the train, and then got to the place where on that day I'm having an work interview.
Wow. And you just found out your husband has 2 other wives. That's crazy.
So you guys got married. You have baby. He goes overseas to work. Was he working in Canada?
In Saudi Arabia.
Oh, so he's
Riyadh.
working in Saudi, and then in that period he meets someone else, marries someone else.
I believe so, but I just don't know where they met. If it's in Saudi or if it's in Philippines. Yeah.
And then he comes back, and then you guys are moving to Canada potentially.
Yeah, supposedly.
And then it all comes out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So what's your... Wow, how do you handle something like that? What do you do from there?
yeah.
Yeah, I just so I went for the interview, the job interview, and I got it. I got the job. I don't know how. Because my brain is not working, but it's sort of like just automatic, whatever questions they ask me, I just answered. And then
She's quite closed off, but she knows a lot. I'll give her the job.
And then it's sort of like, when I was on the train again, and I remembered my son. That was, all I can remember was, oh my God, I have a son. I have,
Responsibility.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's real.
Oh my God, I didn't even know I would.
Wow. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I just felt like I just really need to gather myself and and just to to stand for him, because no one else will. That's what I've been thinking. And then I think it's really God's plan, that that Canada thing, it's not gonna push through. It didn't happen. And then I at that time I had my auntie here in Australia, and she told me, "Do you want to come here? As an international student, I will help you." And I said, "Yeah, why not?" Because in my mind, I just want to change, my whole
Absolutely,
of course.
Yeah, so I decided to come to Australia and be an international student here. So when I came here, I started off with a $6,000 debt because those are the money that I use to come here, to buy my plane ticket, to enroll to the the course that I'm supposed to be doing, because otherwise I won't be able to stay here. I have to be enrolled. Yeah. And then I just worked, and just I think in 6 months I was able to pay off that 6,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So good.
So when did this is amazing. When did God sort of come in the picture?
Oh, as soon as when I came to Australia.
Really?
Yeah. I was
You're
connected.
not brought up a believer, or?
I am brought up, in as a Catholic. Yeah, because in Philippines it's like 95% Catholic. Yeah. Catholicism.
Right.
Yeah.
Catholicism. Yeah. Okay. So God wasn't alive for you. It was like a religion.
Yeah.
Turn up to church.
Yep.
Did
all
you go to
those
Catholic
routine prayers. Like I've also studied in a Catholic school.
Yeah, okay.
Someone shared, about Jesus to us when I was, I think, on my later primary school.
Right.
We all accepted, we all get baptized. But this was, like a missionary who just comes, once in a while there. And we don't have a Christian church, in our village.
Oh, okay. This was in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it all changed when I came to Australia, because that's when I get connected to a Christian church.
Right.
And because I don't have anyone here, it's only God, that I depend on.
So when you came here, did you being here sort of out of your comfort zone by yourself?
Yeah.
Only an auntie here. Is that when you sort of opened up to God, or?
Yeah, like a friend of mine asked me to join the church, and since then, I just knew that God is alive. God is interested, in every detail, and he.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
He just knows everything that I need.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just totally depend everything on him.
Come on.
And it was, I would say, the first 5 years in Australia, actually 5.5 years, was the most difficult time in my whole 47 years, of my life, because that was the time when I was separated with my son, because I had to leave him.
He was in the Philippines?
Yeah.
With your mum and dad?
Wow.
Yeah. I had to make that choice, because it's so hard to become an international student here. You have to pay a lot of money, and I can't be able to look after him at the same time studying and working.
So then you went in 2004? You went here, and then 2 years later went and picked him up.
Yeah, just to visit my son.
Oh, just to visit. Yeah,
just for a month.
Wow.
He was 4 at that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
What age did he actually move over here?
7.5.
Wow. So you got another 3.5 years of saving, and and the cost of living in Sydney is not cheap.
Not
so
cheap.
Expensive.
Yeah.
And what year is that?
So that was 2009, just right after I finished my nursing.
There's no video calls.
No.
No phone calls over there would have cost a fortune.
It cost a fortune. Yeah.
Far out.
And my mom would, I remember one time they called me, and I can hear that it's a different environment. It's not home. And my mom didn't want to tell me that they're actually in the hospital. I just knew it because they were doing putting in a cannula to my son, and he screamed, and he was crying, and he said, "Mom, they're putting a needle on me," and I just cried on the phone.
It would be distressing as a mother.
Yeah.
Helpless.
What are you going to do? What can you do?
No.
Yeah, and my mom doesn't want me to know about it, because she doesn't, want me to worry because I'm away.
Yeah. You must have amazing parents.
They are. I'm really blessed to have them, and they just look after my son like their own.
Yeah. Wow. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do. So she's married to an beautiful Australian guy, and they're living in Brisbane now.
Oh, wow.
Have two
so
kids.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then yourself, is your sister older than you? Or
She's younger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
She came after?
Came after, I think a year or so after me, and she started off as international student as well.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Paved the way for her.
That's amazing. So you've met the Lord in Australia as your Lord and Saviour, baptised and all that.
Yeah.
How's that relationship been like with the Lord for you since 2004?
It was, the best thing because when I was in Philippines, I know about God, but I didn't know him personally.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that, you could have a conversation with him like as if you're talking to your own dad.
Come on.
Yeah, so since I came to Australia, it's a very different relationship, that I have with the Lord. Like for me, it's very personal because I can just tell him anything and everything, that I have in my
In your heart,
in my mind, in my heart. Yeah, a lot of times I don't want to cry. Why am I even crying?
That's amazing. That's an amazing testimony.
Thank you. I remember because I've shared that like that old car that I have. That car really had so much, sentimental value to me because I have prayed so much inside that car.
Yeah.
Because there was even one time when I was just. I just got that car and I was just starting, learn. Well, I already have my not the learners, but the proper driver's license, but I'm still not confident on the road. And then one time I was coming from work and no one was coming to me in the car because I usually would like someone sitting with me as I'm driving because I felt more comfortable. But on that night, no one's coming with me.
Right.
And then it's so funny. I said to the Lord, okay, no one's coming with me tonight. I just, put the radio on. So I turned on the radio. It doesn't want to turn on because it's so old. It's like so temperamental. And then I just sat there. I turned off the engine again. And I said to the Lord, well, there's just two things. You either want to make this radio work or I'll sleep in the car. Because I'm not confident to drive by myself.
Wow.
So I just sit there for like a good 5-10 minutes. And then I was just waiting and praying. And then I turned the engine again and the radio turned on, went home.
Wow.
So that's how I I have my relationship, with the Lord. Even the most little things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
So you've learned to really depend on him.
Yep, definitely.
In a massive way. Wow, that's amazing. So your son joins you when he's 7.5. So you're working and looking after your son.
Yep.
Like you're a solo parent.
Yes, yes.
Wow, paying rent, food, education, everything.
Yep. And there was another part of it when he came, the immigration in Australia, in Sydney, they told me, apply for him for a tourist visa. So when he came, you can just include him on your visa. Because at that time, I'm still applying for permanent residency because I'm very, new from graduating from nursing. And so he came, and when he came, so he's got that tourist visa. And then I found out that I can't include him on my visa. And they said to me that, if you don't, have the chance, to do that, he will be deported.
What?
Yes. And I was like, no.
How old was he then? Like 7.5?
7.5. He just came because he's only on maybe 3 months tourist visa.
Yeah.
And so we had to go to the tribunal. I had to fight for him to stay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that would have cost money too?
It didn't cost me money
Oh,
because there was a public attorney who, who helped me.
Right.
And I told my son, because every day, I think this was just 1 week, and he's gonna be deported, you know, if
What?
we didn't win the case. And he came up to me every day and he said, "Mom, am I going home? I mean, am I going back in Philippines?" And I said to him, "No, you're not going back in Philippines because we already prayed about it."
Wow.
And since then, my son
So
became
good.
very, very strong, you know, with his
Yeah.
faith as well. And and then we won the case.
Wow. Praise
So
the
good.
Lord.
Yep.
So you're all good. So you're a permanent resident. Are you a citizen now?
I am citizen.
Oh.
We're
Come
both
on.
citizen now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
So you're a solo mum in Sydney, raising your son.
Yeah.
That's a massive responsibility, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. Done a good job sitting here
Thank you.
telling the story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seeing God's hand move in your life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've seen him every bit. Like I call it my milestones with God.
sure.
I had so many.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I can't help but wonder what the journey looks like with God without the struggle, you know, because we think those things are so bad that happen.
Yeah.
And they really are. They're hard. They're just grueling to go through, no doubt, like so hard. But it's so beautiful that you chose,
Yeah, right.
God called you, God called your name, and you answered and you chose to follow him, and how beautiful and how strong you are and you've become from doing that. And I think I just can't help but think of the challenges. They suck, but that's such a good thing, because I hear how you talk about you calling out to God, you saying, you know, I'm not doing this, you need to do this, I want this, come on, God. And then I hear now, you know, you're like, my son's 20, you said, and he's out of home. Well, you must have done an amazing job raising him for him to be 20 years old and, you know, not still sleeping on your couch or sleeping in the house, you know. So it's beautiful. I guess what I'm trying to say is I love the struggle because it brings out rich, genuine relationship with God for those who will seek him in those times.
Yeah, I believe so. And I really believe that, you know, in every struggle or in even the worst case scenario in our lives, God can turn that around and make use of that to actually get his name glorified.
Yeah, come on.
Can I ask what some of the biggest challenges were raising a young teenager on your own?
Yeah. With my son, I think my biggest challenge was because he loves computers so much, which I think it's very common to
Very
every
common,
kid,
yeah.
True.
boys particularly. I would always, you know, would give him like a time, you know, with his computer, because I don't want to appear too rigid to him. I can't appear too soft as well, because I'm his mom and dad at the same time. So I remember we were here in the Gold Coast, and I told him at some stage, because he's getting really into the computer games, I told him, okay, put that hard drive in the garage. So I actually took the hard drive totally. He can play on his phone, but I took the hard drive.
How old was he?
He was then probably 16 or 15 at that time. So that was the heat
Wow.
of that, you know.
Wow.
And I was doing night shift. And one night I felt a bit sick, not well. So I came home. And this is what I saw when I came home. He was so shocked to see me in front of his door in his room. And he's playing computer.
The hard drive's out of the garage.
I didn't know that he was taking it because I'm doing night shift.
Wow.
And so this is the thing, you know, when he does something, I would tell him. I would be probably the normal mom who would be like talking too much, and scolding him. But then that night, I just looked at him, and when I saw that hard drive in his room, I didn't say a word. I just went into my room, locked myself there, and not say a word to him. I was crying because I felt, betrayed or cheated, or I don't know, something has triggered, in me, and I didn't say a word. And he was knocking at my door so hard, and he was crying, "Ma, I'm so sorry, if I had to do this, la, la, la." And I didn't open my door. So I think that was one that I could remember. And then the second one was the schoolies.
Oh, yeah.
Horrifying. Wow.
I mean, I allowed him to go there, and because just like I said, I don't want to be too rigid.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to experience. But so we had an agreement. He told me, "Mom, I'm just gonna be there for like 3 days, and that's it, because it's, I think, 1 week.
1 week.
One week. So he
months.
set the rules. 3 days, and I said, "Okay, you can go there." And then when he came back home after 3 days, he wanted to go back.
Right.
And I told him, "No, you already said 3 days, and that's it. You already experienced it, so no." And he said, "But I want to go back." So I told him, "Okay, if you want to go back there, you want to bring your bag as well." I told him,
Take your stuff with you.
"Take your stuff with you, because you're not listening to me anymore."
Wow.
Far
Yeah.
out. What did he say?
You should, a note to any parents watching. So if they're desperate to go to school, they send them to the last 3 days. So then they can't go back.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
What did he say?
Well, he actually called my mom.
Played the grandma card.
Played the grandma card there, but my mom said, "Well, if that's what your mom said, then you gotta decide for yourself now."
Wow.
And it took him probably a good week that he wasn't really talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then after that, like we sort of make amends, and and
How fast has 20 years gone? Like,
so fast, I tell you.
has it ever been like, have you ever thought about getting married again and stuff like that, or you've been so busy and full on? Or?
I think I only thought about it recently.
Really?
I didn't really think about it while my son was with me, because I was so focused on him.
Sure.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And then suddenly, like, when he's moved out, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I should think about, maybe getting,
Wow.
into a relationship again, and maybe, like getting married at some stage, but I think it's a bonus, if it's God's will, then I think it will happen. Yeah.
Do you pray about it? Have you
I
asked
do.
for
I
it?
do pray about it. Just recently, like
Wow.
it's not in my heart for a long time.
Yeah.
But it was just after my son moved out that I've considered it in my
No,
heart.
that's amazing. You've sort of done your responsibility, done your job, raised your kids.
Yeah.
Raised your child. I mean, not kids. Raised your kid. And you've done a good job of that. Been faithful with that. That's
Just
amazing.
really faithful.
Yeah.
Really faithful and amazing. Really honourable what you've done.
So nursing at night, were you doing a lot of night shift?
Yeah. I'm a night shift nurse midwife. That's what they called me in the Gold Coast Hospital. Because I'm the only midwife who actually enjoy doing night shift.
Wow.
Like
So
4 or 5 nights a week.
So how does that work? You've got a son at home. So you leave at what time? 9 or 10 o'clock at night?
Around 8:30 at
I
night.
think, So then you come.
Come home.
He's supposed to be in bed, whatever. Then you come home at what time? 7.
7:45, 8.
So then you're still up. So you get him ready for school, breakfast.
Yeah,
that?
usually he will just prepare his
Himself.
breakfast himself. Yeah, like I think I've trained him at a very
probably
young
has.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna be there for us,
Yeah.
yeah. And I remember when I did because I'm a nurse midwife.
Yeah.
At some stage, when I was going back to uni to do my midwifery, that was the time when my son was starting his high school, grade
okay.
7.
Right.
Yeah, so I even asked him, come, I have to teach you this.
Yeah,
You know what?
good.
I teach him how to wash his clothes in
good.
the washing machine
Good.
and to iron his clothes. And
Yeah,
sometimes he's cheating. He doesn't iron his clothes. He just put a jumper.
Yeah, I cheat too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you cheat, Sam?
Never.
Wow.
I buy clothes
See, he's
that
still
I
low.
buy clothes that don't need ironing.
He's still
Yeah,
low.
wash and wear.
Yeah, exactly. Wash and wear.
Wow. So I'm just thinking about how full on that is.
It's
And
huge.
then he goes to school, comes home at 3:30, 4 o'clock. You might have had like 4 or 5 hours sleep. And then dinner. Wow.
Yeah.
You don't sleep much at night.
It's
Or
actually...
sleep at night. You don't sleep much during the day.
During that time when he was little, it was a very big struggle because I had to, when I come home, I had to send him to school.
Yeah.
And then by the time I came home, it's like, nearly 10 o'clock and then sleep. And then pick him up again at 2:30. Wake up at 2:30 because I need to pick him up around 3 or
Wow.
so. But as he grows up, it becomes
Less and less.
easier
Yeah,
and
but
easier.
it's still, you got a year, even 1 year of 4 hours sleep a night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did they change? Did you do some days and some nights, or?
It works better for me to do nights because I can do a lot of things, because I can't put him on a daycare or things like that. It wouldn't work for me. Yeah.
So then you're doing night shift and daycare for your son.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, it was, and it's so good because along the way, God really provide people who help me along the way. Say,
Sure.
for example, on a weekend and it's school days, that's the biggest struggle.
Right.
School days, school. What's the other
Holidays.
one? Holidays.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's like 2 weeks, and I'm working. So where do I put him? So a lot of my friends who are actually like a real family with mom and dad, they will take my son to their home and look after him for a week, and then another one for a week.
Wow, that's
While
awesome.
while it's school.
Was this in
holidays.
Sydney?
Sydney? Yeah.
Wow, that's and did that happen up here as well, or less?
Oh, in here because he's already more grown up
Oh, okay.
here, so it's actually life is so much better in the Gold Coast for both of us
Oh,
as
that's
well.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. Wow.
Yeah,
You've done amazing. How did you keep your energy? Like, because that's night shift is really hard for people. I've done night shift for a very little period of my time. I'm never gonna do that. It's too
I
hard.
know. I think because there's no problems for me to sleep during the day, or maybe because I get used to it. I don't know.
I think it's probably more you don't have another choice.
Yeah.
So you were just,
And
come
I'm
on,
just-
God, let's go.
And I'm just so tired, so I just sleep. There's
But-
no way to think.
But yeah, there's no chance to
But
think
then
about
I'm thinking about, like, as a mum, like food shopping.
Yeah, when did you do food shopping?
Yeah,
do
there
food
are
shopping?
definitely one day a week that we would go together and just shop the whole week, the food list for the whole week.
And then there's like food shopping. Then there's like, does he play sport or?
Yes. I took him to tennis classes, swimming classes, name it, musical, basketball. Yeah.
And then you've got, shopping. Then you've got clean the house. Now he'll clean the house, but he's a boy, not clean very well. And then you've got sport, and then church. So you fellowship at church.
Yep, I serve at church.
And
yeah.
Because you have so much time.
You know, Rhoda, I was just wondering, your commitment level's not very much.
Yeah.
What the
Why didn't you come on Sunday?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh,
Oh
wow,
wow.
that's amazing.
And does he love the Lord?
He does.
That's
He
awesome.
does. At a very young age, 7.5, he grew up as, like I put him to church in the kids' service. And then he grew up there and he started serving in the kids' ministry as well. So he looked after little kids.
Yeah,
and
wow.
then the youth ministry, because we used to go to another church before. And and now when he moved out, this is my biggest prayer now, for him to be connected to a church who, like, you know, where it's nearby where
Yeah.
he's living now, because he loves the Lord. And
Great.
it's our conversation, you know, whenever we texted, hey son, I'm just gonna remind you that whatever you have now, anything that you have in your hand is from God, and he can always take that away, you know, if he wants to. So don't be drunk, you know, with whatever the money that you're earning now, because you know.
And where is he living now?
In Park Ridge. I think it's in the middle of Brisbane and Gold Coast.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Man.
And how long you been at chapel for?
Just in November last year, when I lost my job,
Yeah, right.
someone invited me.
Oh, cool. And you invited you to a church that was open.
Yeah. She told me that, this is how she describes it. Oh, Rhoda, come to our church. It's really, really, a very family-oriented church. It's like a Pacific Islander church.
Still saying that in November of 2021. Wow.
And I came in November. It's like, it's so diverse, you know, like I love it. I just connected straight away. I think I went to your place on my first day.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You came for chapel chat.
Chapel chat.
It's nice to know not much has changed.
No. People still come to our house. It's great. We love people.
Yeah.
That's why you have a house, right?
Yep, definitely.
Have a house so that people can come over.
Yeah.
Difference is we used to fit the whole church in their house.
Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah.
In
every
your
Sunday.
house.
Yeah. Oh, we rented in Broadbeach first.
Oh.
When we first came here.
And there wasn't as many people. It's a small.
Okay.
We loved it.
Yeah, it's so
It
good.
was so good.
Wow.
Sleep
I'm
on the
not
couch.
saying we don't love it now, but it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
you're helping out at anywhere at the church?
Yeah, at the kids ministry.
Awesome. You love that, eh?
I love it. Yeah. Well, I serve at the 1 to 2 years old. 0 to 2.
How amazing is Sasha and Hafe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
They're
I
such
love her.
beautiful people.
Yeah, and
They do a
Half.
great job.
Yeah. So you look after Nora.
Yeah, and
Oliver,
yeah,
troubled young boy in there by the name of Oliver. Looks like me,
Naughty boy.
apparently.
It's a naughty boy, eh?
Have you seen my boy?
yeah, I've
He's
seen
very
him.
naughty, eh?
Is
Yeah.
he? No, he's not naughty.
She
He's a good
agreed.
boy. He just cries a lot. He spends too much time watching Marshall preach.
Oh,
Oh,
no way. That's amazing. And you're still working night shift?
no, because I lost my job.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I lost my job in November, and then I was terminated in Feb.
Wow.
And
Praise the Lord.
praise the Lord, that was the best thing that happened. And I've learned how to be still, because it's something that I need to learn, because I'm always busy, like running here and there. And from November to Feb, I literally sit still and wait and really just enjoy my time with God, because I just felt like I just needed that recharge, you know. And I remember for that 3 months, in the morning when I woke up, where you will find me just in the corner, you know, of my couch for a good 2 hours, just sitting there.
Wow.
Just waiting on God.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah, it
beautiful.
really is beautiful.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And what are you doing now?
Oh, so at the end of February, that was when I was really searching, you know, the Lord, direction on where do I go next, you know. So one thing I'm sure I told him, I've lost my job. I don't know where to go. But one thing I'm sure he's not finished with me.
Come on.
So I've been praying, and then that's when it all started. You know, that idea for me to start a company. So I have my own nursing company now,
Wow.
like just to help people at their home to do one-to-one cares.
Wow.
And my goal when I started that was to help all the other, maybe not all of them, I couldn't help all of them, but some of them who lost their jobs. So now I have 5 or 6 nurses who's been working, you know, under the company now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
That's since February this year.
Yeah, just this February.
Oh,
when-
just in, 7 months, we just employ 6 other people.
Oh,
Five,
actually,
6
February. That's when I started. So that's not when that's when I started all the ideas, you know. And that's when I'm praying to God and searching, you know, where do I go next? And then we only started really to have clients from August because
okay.
the process takes long for you to
Right.
be approved. So
Oh, the
literally just
EDIS.
August, since August.
Just
I
since
am-
August.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I hear your story. I
That's
hear
amazing.
your drive and just your character, who you are, and I'm not surprised. I
Such
think,
amazing character.
yeah, I think you will be very successful in whatever you put your mind and heart to.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I,
Look, you're helping 7 families with some work to provide for their
Yeah,
family.
just little hours here and there.
Yeah,
It's not
but
a full-time job,
still
but
helps.
I really love it because when I call them and I tell them that, hey, I've got something for you, I could see their faces, you
Wow.
know, light up, and just, you know, that hope again for them to be able
Come
to
on.
do the work that they love to do.
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Rhoda, you're an amazing woman and an amazing example.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing a bit more on podcast, our Testify podcast.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's my
for
honor
coming.
to be
Oh,
here,
that's
and I love sharing my story to people because it's not about me. It's
Yeah.
about him.
What he's done in you. eh?
Amen.
What he's done in my
Free.
life and what he's been doing in my
Come
life.
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
your
God
time.
bless.